Migrating to AWS, stuck between lift and shift, replatform, or even complete rebuild? What do these actually mean? And which one's right for you? In the next 10 minutes, I will make AWS migration strategies crystal clear with real world examples you can relate to. Hey everyone, I am Sachin and welcome to my channel. I break down complex cloud concepts into simple, actionable steps. Today, we are decoding the top 6 AWS migration strategies so you know exactly how to plan your move to the cloud without the stress. Let's start with why companies are even moving to AWS. The very first part is cost savings with pay-as-you-go pricing. It handles traffic spikes automatically. With its global reach with data centers worldwide, AWS also offers built-in security best practices, and it also taps into artificial intelligence, machine learning, analytics, and serverless tech. But not all workloads are ready to jump into the cloud the same way. That's where migration strategies come in. Let's start with the 6 R's of AWS migration. So the very first strategy is rehost or lift and shift, which is the easiest one to start. This is the most basic strategy. You are literally lifting your existing apps from on-premises and shifting them to AWS EC2 instances. You can use this migration strategy when you are short on time, when you want minimal code changes, and when you want to move legacy systems into the cloud. For example, a healthcare company moves its billing system from an on-premise server to AWS EC2 during a data center shutdown. The second strategy is the replatform, or as we know it, lift, tinker, and shift. Here, you make minor tweaks to optimize for AWS without touching core architecture. You can use this strategy when you want better performance, and some AWS features can save cost or improve reliability. For example, moving a self-managed MySQL database to Amazon RDS or using Amazon Elastic Cache instead of Redis on EC2. The third migration strategy is repurchase. This means replacing your legacy apps with software as a service alternatives. You can use this migration strategy when your existing tools is outdated or hard to scale, and also when you are fine shifting to a subscription model. For example, replacing on-prem ERP software with SAP on AWS or software as a service based CRM like Salesforce. The fourth strategy is Refactor or re-architect. This one's powerful but requires the most effort. You redesign your app for the cloud, often breaking it into microservices. You can use this migration strategy when you want to go serverless or use containerized applications, and your apps needs scalability or faster deployments. For example, breaking a monolithic e-commerce site into microservices using AWS Lambda, API Gateway, and DynamoDB. This is where the real cloud-native transformation happens. The fifth migration strategy is retire. Some apps are just not worth migrating. Retiring means shutting down systems that are no longer useful. For example, a company had an old internal dashboard used once a year. They archived the data and shut it down. Result? Less clutter and fewer cost. Sixth strategy is the retain. If something is staying on premise for now, maybe due to regulatory, latency, or technical reasons, this is called retain. For example, high frequency trading systems that rely on ultra low latency might stay on local hardware. This strategy buys you time and keep critical services stable while you plan the next move. In reality, most organizations don't pick just one strategy. They use a mix of migration strategies. For example, they rehost non-critical apps first, then replatform what can be optimized, and finally refactor high-value apps over the time. Now let's talk about AWS Migration Phases. So there are 3 we will be talking about today. First is assess, where we use tools like AWS Migration Evaluator to understand current workloads. The second phase is mobilize, in which you build your landing zone and prepare the environment using AWS Control Tower. And the third is migrate and modernize, in which you will be using tools like CloudEndure, Database Migration Service, or AWS Application Migration Service. And you will also be monitoring the progress with AWS Migration Hub. What are the tools which you can use for the migration? Let's talk about those. We can use AWS Migration Hub, which act as a central dashboard for all the migrations. For real-time replications for minimal downtime, we can use AWS CloudEndure, or we can also use AWS Application Migration Service. We can use DMS or Database Migration Service for migrating the databases. And last but not the least, Control Tower for multi-account setup with guardrail. Now, you have got a solid understanding of AWS migration strategies, but remember, it is not about choosing the coolest strategy. It is about what is right for your workload, team, and timeline. Don't migrate everything at once. Start at low-risk apps, involve security and cost teams as early as possible. If this video helped you, give it a like, share it with your teammates, and subscribe to my channel for more simple cloud videos every week. I'll see you in the next video.